YouTube. Yeah, you guys want to give it a shot? 3 very easy questions, elementary. It'll take a couple minutes. I mean, if you're honest, you know, you won't.
Anthony, you got it. I don't got it.
Yeah, there you go, man. I like that. So the first one's actually the hardest, but then they get easier. You know, it's multiple choice. They're all multiple choice. So the first one's, I have 2 images here. And the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting. So I want to see if people can tell the difference.
One of them a photograph?
And one of them's a painting.
This one kind of looks like a painting.
Okay. What do you guys think? Same way? All right. It was a trick question. They're both paintings. So I don't expect people to get this one, obviously, you know, but there is 2 reasons why I asked this question. They have to do with common sense. So the first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because you believe me that wants a photograph, that influences your choice, right? Because it's not good to just believe someone, right? The second reason is if we... I know, but I'm doing it as an experiment just to show people. No, but you're right, though. So the second reason is if we want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I show you an image of me flying or me walking on water, would you believe I could do those things? No, right? That's obvious, right? That defies physics. So the next 2 have to do with elementary physics. Very easy. Has to do with water. Could we agree once water is contained, like in this bottle, water always seeks its lowest point? In other words, it always goes down. Because if I turn the bottle upside down, water always goes down. Doesn't matter what direction, water always goes down. That's a fact. That's why when it rains, you know. So since we understand that fact about water, that it always goes down, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier. How I'm showing you these 2, which one is upside down? Since we understand water goes down, which one is upside down?
I feel like that's a trick question.
Look at the water. Water's going to be the reference point. If we understand water always goes down.
I feel like this one, I think there's water right here and there's just...
No, the water is definitely blue. Again, you don't have to believe it,
Okay.
but for, if you had to pick one, which one is upside down?
So
based on the physics of water.
So the question is, do we have to use your rules or can we like...
I mean, the question is, since we understand water always goes down, right? It always goes to the bottom.
So it's this one then, because water always goes down.
No, which one's upside down?
Upside down?
Yeah, how I'm showing you these 2, which one is upside down?
Oh, hold on.
Because the box...
I made it look similar, like the background, just to make it a little harder, right? But water's gonna be our reference point.
So if the water goes down, right, then whether it's upside down or not, the water should be at the bottom, right?
If it's right side up, but if it's upside down, it shouldn't be on the bottom.
So then it's this one.
Exactly. Yeah. This one's upside down. I actually took this one like that, holding it up to the ceiling. So yeah, because that's the physics of water. It always goes down, right? Another thing about water, have you guys ever heard of water always finds its level? Mm-hmm. Right? What could be another word for level? Like the surface of a pool, you know, what could be another word?
At the top?
Like for level.
Even.
Oh.
Even's a good one, right? Horizontal is actually a proper definition for level, right? That's very easy. Since we understand that water always finds its level, this is the easiest one, elementary. Which one of these 2 represents level correctly? Since we understand what level means and water always...
All you, bro.
Look at the water. Which one represents level as we know it?
Water level, so it should be...
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so the real reason I do this is because we actually have all been lied to believing this is the answer, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were lied to? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
Right? So NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? So they need to know the radius of orbit, so they need to know the radius of the Earth. And they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which gives us a circumference of 24,901. So there needs to be curvature every mile. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches. By the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. And in 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature. So if we actually went out in nature, like a giant lake that was miles across, to measure for this curvature, we understand the physics of water, you know, it's going to be parallel to that structure because that's what water does. Every lake on Earth does that. But they're trying to tell us that water is bending and every mile is increasing, you know. So in 10 miles, there should be a 6-story, you know, foot of building that should be measurable, but it's not there, you know. So if I was to ask you guys, what's the number 1 proof that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
Because of like physics and like...
What kind of physics? What physics?
It's not a stupid question because the basis of like physics that we're doing I'm doing in my AP classes is using the gravitational force of objects and their radius in order to actually measure things. And apparently the Earth matches those
equations. Okay, so basically gravity, right? That's what you're saying. That's why the equations for gravity. That's why you think the Earth is a ball.
guess there's other reasons that.
Okay, so gravity, real quick. I don't know if you guys knew, but gravity, first of all, it's irrelevant to establishing the shape of the Earth. The reason why things fall has nothing to do with measuring for curvature. But I will tell you that I don't know if you guys knew, gravity is just a theory. If you Google it, it's a theory because it's never been proven. So what they measured, they didn't measure a force pulling anything down. What they measured was the rate of speed. So they measured 9.8 meters per second. That's the rate of why things fall. They're not measuring a force. They're just measuring the effect of why things fall. So they're not measuring the cause, basically. They're just, measure.
But they know that there's a force there, right?
Yeah, and here's my other thing. Even if gravity was true and was bending the oceans and all the waters basically on Earth, that curvature should be physically measurable. So in my opinion, this is the number one experiment to debunk the globe. And you will never hear anyone talking about this online because I don't know if you guys know, but this is being censored,
So do you think that the pictures of the Earth are fake then?
I'm glad you brought them up. They actually don't call them pictures. They call them images. Guess why?
Like from the satellites?
Yeah. So all the images from satellites, they're not photographs. They admit they're Photoshop, but they don't call them Photoshop. They call them composites. So an image of the Earth like this, for example, let me see, like this, they're all cartoons. These are all made in a computer, basically. These are all fake.
So we don't actually have a picture of
Nope.
Earth?
If you look into this, you'll realize that very quickly. So these are actually taken 20 miles in the sky, which in my opinion is the highest human beings have ever gone. And the horizon, how would you describe the horizon?
Because he just looked at me and I just laughed.
How would you guys describe the horizon?
The sun? Isn't it round?
Well, the sun, again, I would say nobody has been to the sun, so nobody knows what the sun is. It's irrelevant to establishing the shape of it. I would say it's a red herring. You know what a red herring is? It's a false argument.
What about the moon then?
Same thing. It's the same thing.
What about all the other planets that we see?
They're just lights in the sky. Nobody knows what they are. Anybody telling you what they are, it's a religion. Because again, all religions are based on faith. And if we can't get to these things and actually see what they are, then anybody telling you what they are is just a religion. Nobody knows what they are. But again, it's a red herring. It's a false argument because it has nothing to do with establishing what's on the ground. You know what I'm saying? They're telling us the ground is curving.
So what if your argument is also false because
you don't have to believe me. Physics will show you this, The only place you're ever going to see curvature of the Earth, you guys are familiar with like action cameras like this, right? GoPros, how they warp horizontal lines, right? That's the only place you're ever going to see curvature, and in cartoons. So through GoPro cameras or through CGI cartoons like this one, Again. So what do you guys think? You think it's possible that maybe we were lied to about the shape of the Earth, or are you guys pretty set on your belief?
I believe that anything is possible, but
there you go.
I'm gonna stick to
your teachings.
To my teaching until I find actual solid.
Right. So because again, I came across this in 2016. That's when it exploded on the internet, and it started getting censored in 2018, 2019, which is literally the main reason why I'm out here. Because I don't think it's fair that I came to this, in 2016 when it wasn't being censored, and now it's being censored. So a lot of people don't have the opportunity to look at both sides of the argument, right? So that's why I'm out here to share information. So I do have a flyer that has the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe. If you guys want to take one, because again, if you go on and Google and type in flat Earth, you're just gonna get nothing but ridicule. That's like the number one defense right now: ridicule and dismissal. Because again, the globe doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any proof whatsoever. So here, let me give you this flyer. And again, if you guys have any questions about these proofs, which again, have you guys ever heard of Euclidean plane geometry?
I've heard of it, but I've never.
So it's the geometry assumed to construct everything we see, from railroads, bridges, buildings. It assumes that the Earth is a level plane. So it's Euclidean plane geometry. And geometry means measurement of the Earth. So again, we assume that it's level, and that's how everything works. So even construction, everything, tells us that. Even navigation, when airplanes fly level, they fly straight. They don't fly over a curve.
I've heard that one before, but I think there was a YouTube thing that tried to debunk.
So again, they try to say gravity makes the airplane curve while it flies. But again, gravity is just a theory. Gravity is a theory it's like the glue that keeps this whole lie together, because that's how they explain orbits. That's how they explain water bending. That's how they don't exist. So everything about the sky is just made up.
So what about seasons and days?
So seasons, I would say, again, it's a false argument when it comes to establishing the shape of the Earth, but there is other explanations when it comes to that. If you're interested, you could look into that, because again, that's irrelevant to establishing the shape of the Earth. But again, when I first came in this, I did have a lot of questions, like how does the sun set?
So how does the moon just stay in place?
Well, they don't. They actually rotate above us. They're telling us that we're spinning and the sun's just in place.
So how does that work?
Well, that's just the way it was created. This place is that's another thing. They're lying to us because they're hiding a creator, or basically this place was created.
I believe that it was created, but I also believe.
But you believe in the Big Bang, though?
I don't believe in the Big Bang.
Oh, you don't? So how do you explain the universe?
That God made it.
You think God made the whole universe?
Yeah,
okay,
he
that's fair enough, I guess.
Too.
I guess, but again, I would say everything about the sky. Nobody's been higher than 20 miles. You guys seen the Red Bull jump from space? You guys never seen that jump? You guys could Google it. It's a guy went in a giant helium balloon 20 miles up, and he supposedly jumped, but again, he was using a GoPro, and that's how they showed the curvature. But again, it was just camera effects, and when you see the entire video, you could see the...
That one was obviously just light distortion.
Okay, well, it's a camera effect, not just light distortion. The fisheye lens warps.
That's why,
it's a fish.
It warps the light.
Sure, I guess you could say that, yeah. But it's a camera effect at the end of the day. It doesn't exist in reality, this curvature that they're telling us.
It's just how the lens works.
Well, if you have a standard lens, though, that's going to show everything how it is. You know, not a fisheye lens, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, what's your YouTube?
Here, let me give you my card. If you guys are interested, I do this at universities, too. That's the one places I love going, because obviously they can't defend their globe, and, you know. So I do...
University students aren't exactly as smart as people.
I mean, are you a university student?
Not yet.
Not yet? Oh, okay, so you're just... Oh, you guys are in high school? Oh, wow, okay. There you go.
University doesn't mean you're smart.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true. Not a lot of people, know that. Here you go. That's my YouTube. You guys could check it out. I mean, if you guys have any questions before you guys go, I can answer them.
All right, sure. Appreciate it.
All right, man. You guys have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping. You guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 very easy questions, elementary level. The first one's the hardest, but then they get easier. All right, we'll see if you actually do trust your common sense. So this first one, I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting.
Okay.
So I want to see if people could tell the difference.
Okay. So I just say which one's which?
Yeah, based on...
This one's a picture, this one's a
painting.
I agree.
Same?
Yeah.
Okay, it was actually a trick question. They're both paintings. So I don't expect people to get this one, obviously, because it's impossible to tell. But there is 2 reasons why I asked this question, and they have to do with common sense. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? So it's not good to just believe someone.
Yeah, because we just believe that you said
one's a photograph,
other.
exactly,
Okay.
right? So the second reason is if you want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I show you an image of me flying or me walking on water, that's obviously fake. That defies physics, right?
Definitely.
So these next 2 have to do with elementary physics. They both have to do with water, actually. So can we agree once water is contained, like in this bottle, it always seeks its lowest point. In other words, it always goes down. Because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always goes down. And also, it always finds its level, So that's a fact, that water does, So I can't lie to you. So I actually painted the water blue with food coloring, just to make it easier to see the water, because it's clear, obviously it'd be hard to see. But since we understand water always goes down, how I'm showing you these 2 images, which one is upside down? There you go. Do you guys agree with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, because the water can't stick to the top. I actually took that one like this. Yeah, so you guys got it. You guys do trust your common sense. That's good. So this last one's even easier. So since we understand water always finds its level, right? What could be another word for level if we had to use a different word?
Balance or gravity.
Balance. Or could we say horizontal? That's actually the proper definition for level.
Yeah.
Because you could have a straight line, but if it's at a slope, it's not level.
Yeah.
It has to be a straight horizontal line, right? That's what level means. So since we understand that fact about water as well, that it always finds its level, this one's the easiest, by the way. Which one of these 2 represents level correctly, A or B?
A.
Oh, that was quick. That's good. Yeah, that's obvious. So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population have been tricked to thinking that this is the answer, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were tricked?
How?
Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
Right? So NASA in specific, they actually claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, right? So they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth if they're supposedly going around it, right? So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles. So that gives us a circumference of 24,901 miles. So there needs to be curvature every mile. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop. Second mile, 32 inches. By the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. So by 10 miles, there should be 66 feet. And that's a 6-story building. That should be measurable. So if we actually went on in nature to measure for this curvature, like a giant lake that was miles across, we understand that the water is going to be parallel to the level, because that's what water does. It always seeks its level. But they're trying to tell us that water is bending, but in reality, this will be the #1 experiment to
But
debunk
it'll
the
always
globe.
be level to the core of the Earth.
So you think level means curve then? You think level means
Not curved, like it's like straight. It's horizontal, but always like.
but on a globe?
But on a globe, not really. No, it's curved because it's like you said, there's like the circumference. It, like eventually,
Right.
it's gonna alter.
Right. So would you accept though we should be able to measure this curvature if it was there, or do you think it shouldn't be measurable?
I think it should be measured.
Right. That's obvious, right? So if I was to ask you guys, what's the #1 proof that convinces you or makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
I would just go for pictures with NASA. Like
I'm glad you brought them up. I'm glad.
But like,
I'm glad you guys brought the pictures because they actually don't call them pictures, they call them images.
Okay.
And the reason they call them images is because they're Photoshop. So they actually admit to this. They don't call them Photoshop though, they call them composites. So they actually make them in a computer. So the only place we're ever gonna see curvature of the Earth is through GoPro cameras. Are you guys familiar with the GoPro, how it curves horizons, that fisheye lens, right? So that's the only place we're ever gonna see curvature, or through CGI cartoons like this one. This is an official NASA image from 2012. And again, they admit their cartoons basically CGI.
Well, they need some type of representation because they're not going to get like graphic like.
Right. That's
that far out.
That's the explanation they give us, right?
Yeah.
But even if these were real, again, there's curvature all around this.
Yeah.
We should be able to physically measure that. But again, I go with physics. I don't go with what people tell me. I don't just believe what people tell me, right?
You need the scientific findings.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And science it has to be measurable, testable, and repeatable.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with theories or what people are saying. If you can't back up your claim with a practical demonstration, then
I mean, there are some abstract theories, like for example.
again,
like
theories,
of,
but
like,
okay.
Yeah, theories, but like that can be proven. Like,
But
for
then there wouldn't be
example, like,
theories.
But yeah, but some things are like they're not measurable. Like for example, you can't measure your love for someone. It's like not like.
I would say that's subjective, though.
It is
Yeah,
subjective.
we're talking
Certain
about,
things
like,
are
Objective,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking
Factual.
exactly.
Yeah, some things are like scientifically backed and others are not. but,
Exactly.
like,
I would say anything that has to do with the subjective is not provable, like you said, like feelings and stuff like that. But when we're talking about the Earth is physical. There's geometry. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Euclidean plane geometry. You have. So it's the geometry assumed to construct everything we see, from railroads to bridges, buildings. They don't take account for curvature in the blueprints. All the blueprints are level. Basically, they're all done from a datum line, which is horizontal. That's how they measure height and depth, and that's how airplanes fly. You know, when airplanes fly, they just, they have their angle of attack and their angle of descent. But when they're flying, they fly straight. They're trying to tell us that gravity, a theory, is making the airplane curve, even though it's flying straight. But again, it's just a theory. It's just, again, gravity, I would say, is a red herring. You guys know what that is? It's a false argument, because the way in which things fall has nothing to do with actually measuring the curve of the Earth. Because again, if gravity was real and it was bending all the oceans and all the lakes on Earth, again, we should be able to measure that. But if you go to any lake on Earth, even the oceans, I mean, it's called sea level for a reason, if you ask me. Again, level meaning horizontal. They try to redefine level on paper through mathematics, and the way they do it is equal distance from the center to the surface of a sphere. So that's how they redefine level. So if you have a basketball, for example, and you go an inch off of it on this side, an inch of it off of this side, and an inch of it in the middle, and you connect those dots, they're trying to say that means level. But in reality, it's not exactly. So again, if we're talking about the objective world, we gotta go with physics. You can't just go with theories, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, theories are not confirmed.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, physics is confirmed.
Yeah.
Laws. For example, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the first law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
That energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That debunks the Big Bang Theory. So that proves that this place was created. So they're trying to hide a creator as well. I'm not biblical myself. I think all religions are there to control, and the heliocentric model is the biggest religion. Again, why? Because it's based on faith, one, and two, they try to give us a creation story, just like every other religion. The fact is, nobody knows how this place came to be. But again, the first law of thermodynamics proves that we came from something. We're part of an eternal of something eternal, basically, that doesn't die. You know what I'm saying? So, do you guys have any questions about this topic? So I do have some information I share, because this information is being censored online, and the way they're censoring it is they're just ridiculing it, they're just dismissing it. And I actually go to universities and talk to the students about this, and nobody can prove the globe. I speak into astrophysics graduates, I speak into a lot of university students, and nobody can prove the globe, because it's just a religion. It's just based on faith, on what they were told. Again, if you ask me, theories, all these theories in a science book, it might as well just be a Bible. It might as well just be verses, because again, theories are not provable. So theories is just a fancy word for something. It's just, and it's exactly, yeah, there you go. So here, let me give you the flyer. Again, because if you guys go on Google, you're not gonna get any genuine information. That's one of the main reasons why I'm out here, because it is being censored, and I don't think it's fair. That we're all being lied to, and we're not even given the chance to look. Okay, you could take one. Yeah, and I actually do have a YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. My conversations at the universities, and you guys could probably see yourselves on there as well. Yeah, that's my channel, the first one on there. So yeah, thanks for talking to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. All right. Oh, I see 2 securities coming. Let's see if they tell me anything. They might be kicking me out. We'll see if they call the police. Oh yeah, they're gonna come towards me, that's for sure. How's it going? How are you doing? How are you doing?
I just came by to let you know the filming and all this isn't allowed on the property. But this property right here, the border of it starts at the lights. So if you backed it up to the lights, then you'd be allowed to.
The lights right here?
Yeah, you'd be in. Or sorry, yeah, the second one where the palm trees are. You'd be in public property. This is private over here.
But isn't it open to the public?
That's correct.
To the public, but it is private property.
But it's open to the public. That's kind of a contradiction. I understand because there's a lot of government buildings that are privately owned, but when they're open to the public, anybody has access to these.
Yeah, sure. As long as they comply to the rules that the private owners,
Right.
the property owners,
Right.
lay
So
out.
I did read the code of conduct before coming here,
Okay.
and the code of conduct, the first thing that says that obviously you can't violate the law, right?
Okay.
So what I'm engaging here is the First Amendment. It's actually constitutionally protected activity. It's my right to record in public. So you guys infringing on my rights will be actually breaking the law. So you see how ironic that is?
I got it. So we have something called free speech. Right?
Exactly. Just like
I'm-
free
I'm-
press.
what
Free
I'm-
press
what
as
I'm
well.
referring to is what the policy we have here. So yeah,
Policies don't trump rights, though.
listen
That's
what
my
I'm
point.
saying. Listen what I'm saying, sir. I've
No,
read
yeah,
this
sure.
before. I understand
Trust me,
how-
this is not my first rodeo as well.
No, yeah, Joseph.
Just listen for a second, because I understand First Amendment.
Exactly. There we
all
go.
that, and there is a specific thing for private property, right? I know it's accessible. Just let me finish.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. I'll let you
So
finish.
you're accessible to the public. You're right. You can film in public. There's no expectation of privacy in public.
Exactly.
You can film.
Exactly.
I know that. Got it. So the question is, what is it that you're?
I'm just talking to people,
Okay. Is it about? What is it about?
just about the Earth, just sharing information about what's
Okay,
going on in
so
reality.
Political or just
No, not a
opinions?
political. No, not a
Okay.
political. This is
So we have
just
something called free speech, right?
Yeah, free
Here
speech.
that they call it, and they actually set you up with a booth, right? So you, like you said, you have the right to,
Exactly.
So some people like churches and stuff, they want to hand out flyers, whatever.
sure. I know. I understand
So
that.
what they do is they have to have you rescheduled. So you go to the office,
Right.
you fill out the paperwork, and they give you a booth here in the mall that's
Right.
accessible to be
Right.
seen. Because, like you said,
But
it's
if I have to ask for permission, then that's not a right. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
since you have private
really.
property, it's a little bit
Not really.
different.
Well, if I have to ask for permission, then that's not a right. If I have the right to do something, that
Right,
means
but
no.
then when it's granted to you, it becomes a right.
But that's the thing. Nobody can grant me that. It's a God-given. God gives us these rights. These are
I
God-given
understand,
rights.
but we're talking about the law, not.
That's
not
right. The law
church,
backs
right?
up our rights. The laws cannot infringe on people's rights.
I understand. Like, what I'm trying to explain
Yeah.
some things that you may not understand because we've been
Sure.
trained in this and we have to do it all the time. And I deal with people like you all the time. No problem. We don't want to infringe on your rights. We're just trying to show you how to do it in compliance with here. Because public, if you're over there, this is the public library.
Yeah, I
there's
understand that, yeah.
Zero issues.
Yeah.
Because you're in public.
And this is a public sidewalk. Again, you could say it's
not
private,
public
but it's
sidewalk.
Not a public sidewalk.
but it's open to the public,
You're
and
right.
it
But
leads
because
to
it's
the public
private,
library.
Because it's
Private
private,
property.
you still need to get in contact with management, right?
Right.
Because what you're doing is soliciting.
I'm not soliciting. That's the thing.
So what are you doing?
I'm just trying to see if somebody wants. I'm doing a story basically. I'm just filming out in public, which again, freedom of press, freedom of speech. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm just exercising my First Amendment
So
right.
you're soliciting.
That's all I'm doing.
And for sure, and we have plenty of people that
Are you
do
asking
that.
questions?
Yeah, just literally just questions. You guys want to give it a shot? I mean, you guys can see exactly what I'm doing.
I'm
It's-
good, man.
We know
That's
what you're
fine.
doing. It's considered soliciting. So you're asking something for someone, right?
I'm not
Whether it be a
asking. No.
question,
Yeah, which is just free
Was it a
speech.
time?
They're all consensual encounters. I'm not harassing
It's
anyone.
soliciting.
I'm not loitering, and I'm not selling anything.
Soliciting doesn't mean you're selling.
What does it mean?
Because
I just
you
explained
could
to you.
solicit people's attention.
So you're saying
You
so you're
could
trying to
solicit
so you're
their
trying to
time.
turn free speech into soliciting.
No, what I'm saying
No,
what
we're
it
saying
is,
we're
you are
saying what the
soliciting.
act is, right?
Yes,
Because-
I'm
because
not
freedom of
selling
speech
anything.
goes-
Soliciting has to do with
No, it doesn't.
selling
You can look
or
at the
offering a
definition right now.
service
It does.
or
No, it
offering a
doesn't.
You
product.
can Google it right now. I've done the research because I prepared for this.
So what is free speech then?
We're not talking about free speech. We're talking about soliciting.
Yeah,
Well, I'm talking.
that's what
I'm
we're
doing
talking
free
about.
speech,
Okay,
and you guys
we're-
are trying to turn my free speech
We're
into
talking about
soliciting.
soliciting,
No,
sir.
but what you're doing is soliciting.
So if you
No,
wanna-
it's free speech.
Right? You're exercising free speech.
Exactly.
But in doing so, the act is soliciting. You see what I'm saying?
No. That's how you're turning my
Okay.
my free speech into soliciting.
Let's try this.
Sure. I'm trying to reason with you guys. You know.
Look up the definition of
Hey,
soliciting.
same.
Look up the definition of soliciting, and then you'll be clear. Because you know freedom of speech, we know freedom of speech, we know soliciting, but you don't know soliciting. So I think you should look up soliciting.
So what's the issue here? Is it me recording or is it me?
Soliciting.
I mean,
Soliciting.
what is? Okay, give me your definition of soliciting.
It's not my definition.
Oh, give me the definition of soliciting.
Definition of soliciting is you're asking people for something with an expectation.
I'm not asking people for anything. That's
You
the
just said
point.
You're asking them questions.
I'm having consensual encounters, which is free speech.
Okay, so hear me out. all right?
Yeah, I'm hearing you out. I'm trying to
Okay.
reason with you guys,
So we allow it within reason, right?
which I'm not blocking the sidewalk. I'm not.
That's true.
Exactly, you know.
That's true.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
don't, I'm trying to be cool with you. I don't want it to become an issue because we've dealt with this many times. We have people set up a tripod and do the same exact
I mean,
thing.
if they're
We've had
selling-
people, we've
okay.
had people have petitions, which clearly is protected.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what they had to do? They set up a booth.
Yeah.
And they set them up in a public area because it's your right to have public view.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Or publicly visible because there's private property. And they put you somewhere, right? And you know what they tell you? You cannot say anything. You're not allowed to.
So you're not allowed to use your free speech.
Because you're on private property. So it's like the idea is like if someone went to your house, right?
Yeah.
I know it's not public accessible,
right.
But you still, since it's private, you still have the right to kick someone out.
We this is nobody's house though. This is open to the public. My house is not open to the public.
I get you. But if you let someone else in,
that's me letting them
open
in.
House,
because it's private. I have to let them in.
And I said it's open house. Right?
I didn't have to ask for permission to come in here.
Listen, if I said it's open house. If I said it's open house, right? I have open house for the property.
You're comparing apples to oranges.
I'm not. I've heard that.
You're comparing private property to something that's publicly accessible. Even if it's privately owned, it's publicly accessible.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But it's publicly accessible.
Open house would be publicly accessible, right?
So is a shop. So is a McDonald's.
That's why I'm not going inside stores because I understand. That'll be causing a disturbance inside the store. I'm on a public accessible sidewalk. You know what I'm saying?
Publicly accessible, but it's still private property, right?
Yeah, but it's
property has rules.
So I understand maybe after hours, 10 p.m. If I'm out here, obviously you got to leave, right?
Well, not even because if there were people right in this area doing the exact same thing you were doing, right? We would still tell them to leave.
No, I understand
because what they're doing is soliciting. You are exercising free speech, and I understand that because you're saying. You got your whole setup, and I respect that. That's freedom. That's First Amendment. Right. That's elementary.
Right.
But what you're doing is soliciting isn't exclusive to selling. So I don't have to sell you something to solicit something to you. Right?
But
because I can be walking around with a Bible and I can say, or I can be standing here like a setup. There's a setup over there on JCPenney. They got their whole little table with their Bible and they're preaching the word, preaching the gospel, right?
Yeah.
Or they're getting people to sort of not buy into their message so much, but just listen to them. Right. I can solicit your attention. I can solicit your time. Right. So it isn't me selling you something. I'm sitting here. You got this question, right? You're asking people questions.
And again, it's a consensual encounter, which is not illegal. It's a right.
That, and I
it's a right.
understand that. It's consensual. But I'm not debating whether or not it's consensual or non-consensual. That's not what I'm saying.
So if anybody's talking to each other, is that soliciting?
If what?
If anybody's talking to each other, is that soliciting?
What do you mean?
Like if two people like them, if they're talking to each other, they're talking to another person, just having a conversation, like all these people that are over there, is that soliciting?
No.
Or is that free speech?
No, because they're all here. They're all partied together.
So they can't talk to. They can't talk to a stranger.
So if I'm here with my family, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to them, right? That's not soliciting.
But say somebody else asks you a question.
But if I'm going around, right, we have no connection to each other.
Okay, so let's say somebody asks for the time because they don't have a phone.
Okay.
And then they start talking about sports, for example, like because that's where the conversation went. Okay. Are you saying they're soliciting because they asked for the time, and now they're having a conversation? No, that's free speech. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just asking a question, and then we're just having a conversation.
You keep going back to free speech. I'm not arguing against free speech.
Well, then I don't know why you guys are trying to kick me out.
It's because you don't understand soliciting, and you already told us you didn't understand because you said.
No, I understand soliciting, and again, it has to do when you're offering a product or service. I'm not offering neither.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you to Google it.
That's what I'm saying.
Trust me, I did my research. I even looked at your code of conduct as well. I make sure I did my. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so then what did the code of conduct say about filming?
Nothing. It just says you can't unnecessarily block walkways. That's the only thing. And I'm not unnecessarily blocking anything.
We can get you a copy of it right now.
If you want, you could give me a copy.
If it says it's no filming, would you leave?
I mean, you could give me a copy of the policy.
If it said no filming,
well, that would be.
Would you leave because it's in the policy?
Well, that would be infringing on my rights. And if I'm threatened with arrest, I will leave.
Okay. So, I don't understand your point.
So yeah, if I'm gonna be threatened with arrest for not leaving for filming in public.
We're not threatening arrest. We're just trying to do our job.
No, I understand. Your job is to observe and report any crimes, and there's no crime here.
That's not what we do.
So
we're not cops.
No, that's why you just observe and report. Exactly, you report to the law enforcement to enforce laws.
To enforce law, but to also enforce the policies of this private establishment.
Police, they're law enforcement for a reason. They're not supposed to enforce policies. They're supposed to enforce the law.
That's why we're here.
That's why.
That's why we are
no, but
what? Of the property gives us the right to reject you.
If I'm breaking the law.
No.
If you're in violation of the policy of this private establishment.
I'll be honest. If someone was sitting down on the bench, I'm being technical.
But a lot of people, everybody uses their phone and records. Like I don't understand why that's an issue. Everybody's recording.
It depends. So
it depends why.
Yes, they articulate it, right? They articulate it in the policy. They encourage people to film themselves.
Yeah.
Right. They encourage people to document what they're doing tomorrow.
Yeah. By the way,
But they also have us. They expect us to monitor what kind of film is going on. Like if you're filming people, right?
Yeah.
You're in public, but you're not on public property. So you don't have the same we can eject you because hey, yeah, you can film yourself, take a selfie, but you're filming the property. We don't necessarily allow that. If you're filming our cameras,
But this is again, if you can't, and there's no expectation of privacy in public, and
Yeah.
this is open to the
I
public.
understand. Being open to public and being in public are not the same thing. You know that.
No, I know that because
So
no,
you're not in public.
there's a lot of government buildings that are privately owned, but again,
not
they're
talking
open
about
to the public.
government
It's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. Even if this was privately owned, it's during business hours when it's open to the public.
If we brought the code of conduct,
You can show me the code of conduct. I'll take a
you
look
said
at
you
it.
looked at it.
I did look at
I
it.
believe you saw the part where it said video and photography. Did you see that part?
I did not see that part. There was nothing on there that
So
said no videoing allowed.
Exactly. So you didn't see it.
I didn't see that because it wasn't there.
Okay.
Now, if you could show me
But
that,
what
sure,
you're
I'll take a
telling
look
me
at it.
that you wouldn't care anyways, right? Because you're like the
No.
policy doesn't
Here's the
matter.
thing. I would see it, but then at that point, I will be like, if it is there, I would say that that's a violation of people's rights. That policy doesn't trump people's
That's
rights.
fair. That's fair. I mean, that's totally fair. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's funny enough, I would watch a lot of like first male auditors
There
and
you
stuff
go.
like that.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar. I'm not sure what your goal is today. Is it
Just literally just to have a conversation with people.
conversation?
Yeah.
What is it about, if I may ask?
I mean, you guys want to give it a shot?
I'm just curious, just so like if our boss asks, we can articulate what you're actually doing.
It actually has a conversation with basic physics.
Basic physics.
Basic physics, water in specific.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
like you're challenging like
People's perception,
Perception.
people's, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So
That's it.
Okay. For sure.
Yeah, I'm telling you, nothing wrong. I'm gonna tell you this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And honestly, our point of view, because like you have experience, I have a lot of experience here too. I've been working here for 2 years.
Okay.
And there's never been a time that someone in your position has like not got removed from the property, and I don't like doing that.
Right,
None of us
right.
want to do that. We try to reason and communicate. That's what we try to do the best, right? So we had a vlogger
Right.
get arrested and post it on his YouTube.
But was he harassing people? Was he?
He was doing the same thing you're doing, right?
Okay.
He had a tripod and he was filming, right?
Okay, but
And he got arrested, right?
what was the charges
Trespassing.
for filming?
It's trespassing. So, we
So
can't-
that would be discrimination. If there's no a trespass
no.
from public, will have to be a secondary charge.
But
You would have to be causing a disturbance or
Under-
something to then be
understand-
trespass from public.
Yeah, and that's can be disturbance is determined.
So what was the
property
initial
owner.
charge before trespass? What
Listen,
did he do wrong
listen
that
what I'm
broke the
saying.
law?
Listen what I'm saying, right? We don't have to give a reason to, technically.
Well, that would be discrimination. Again, you can't just kick anybody out
Right.
just because you don't want them there.
I-
There has to be
That's what private property is.
again, if it's
Okay.
open to the public, it's public during those business hours.
Okay, so explain the difference between public and private property.
Private property is like your house, you know. Literally nobody has access to that. And public, it's anything. I didn't have to ask for permission to come in here. That's one of my. That's why it's open because it's open to the
Someone
public.
owns the property,
It's still private property.
and you don't get to make the decisions for what is allowed here. They do, and then we enforce those.
Those decisions cannot trump people's rights. So I understand no bikes here because obviously
so
it could
they
cause.
allow you to do it, but they have to set up. I told you.
But again, I don't feel like I need to ask for permission to exercise my
I
rights.
know you
That's a
don't.
contradiction. You know what I'm
If you're
saying?
in public, yes. If someone said you're in front of a public library, you need to set up.
But this public sidewalk leads to the public library,
Okay.
making it public.
So
You know what I'm
what-
saying?
But we gave you, but we told you
gave
that
you
the
options.
property of the library is public.
We said you go
so
to
that's
public,
where you can set.
and you'd be only a few feet
But
away.
this sidewalk leads to. That's why it has to be
But
open
it-
to the
but
public.
It's not,
It's not
it's
public.
not public.
So how can
When the
people
mall
walk to the
closes-
library?
When the mall
What are you
closes,
talking about?
listen,
How can people get to the library without
They-
walking through
they
this
u-
public sidewalk?
when the mall closes,
They use this private sidewalk.
Oh, so they have to ask for
get
permission to
the
get to this
public.
sidewalk to get to the library?
Not at all. It's where you're.
Why don't they have to ask for permission?
What do you mean?
Why don't? If it's private, why doesn't anyone have to ask for permission to be
Because-
here?
Because this private property,
If the
right?
mall
Private
closed-
doesn't mean closed, right?
No, no,
that's,
no.
That's not what I'm saying. Because you're starting to confuse
No, no.
the two, right? It's
really
private
semantics
property
at this
is
point.
not the same thing
Let me
as
get it.
closed property.
It's semantics.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, because okay, you're saying it's private property, but my question is, how did people get
You know
to
how-
walk
that's-
through
that's
here?
not even a
Use
real
their
question,
legs,
right?
okay?
Exactly, because it's open to the public. They didn't have to ask for permission.
Okay, so you're right by saying it's open to the public.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But you're not understanding when I'm saying it's private property.
That's
Still.
the.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
get it. It's
Being
private
open to the
property,
public
but
doesn't make
But
it
expl-
public.
but explain
You
it
don't
to
have
me,
the
right?
exactly the same
you,
right.
do you guys realize if it's open to the public, that doesn't make it public? That doesn't make any
Exactly,
sense.
exactly.
Because it's
Explain it
private
to me.
property.
If it's open to the public, then it is open to the
explain it
public.
me.
Yeah,
Explain
but
to
it's
me,
not
right?
public property.
I mean, it's
Public
in the
property-
name. If it's open to the
No,
public,
Public
then
property
it.
is owned by the
not.
public. That means you pay taxes.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like,
This is
okay,
not owned by
But
the
you
public.
don't because,
No, no.
because you keep reiterating everything like the exact opposite of what we're telling you.
again, your issue is that I'm filming and I could be arrested for filming on private property. But
It's
again,
soliciting, man.
everybody is literally filming. Not everybody, but a lot of people film nowadays
Soliciting
when they're
is
at.
the main thing.
Okay, soliciting again. What do you mean by soliciting? Having a
You already
conversation?
explained what soliciting meant.
So I'm just gonna.
But you haven't looked at the
Okay,
definition for
so-
yourself. So that's part of the reason why you have this
So I've been.
confusion here.
Let me just explain something real quick. I've been removed here. I've been, illegally trespassed here,
Okay.
and I went to court. And the district attorney, again, if you want to contact the district attorney's office, they will explain everything to you.
Okay.
The case haven't been filed. They're not gonna file
Okay.
because they
I
know
believe
that.
it.
Yeah.
Did the charges get dropped?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you still have to leave?
No. Well, that day they arrested me. They took me.
Okay.
But
So what do you
again,
think
they
is
violated my
going to-
rights. I'm gonna definitely follow up with that. Now, if you guys want to do that again, I'm not gonna looking to get arrested. I will leave under threat of arrest, but it needs to be articulated to me first. And you guys obviously are not law enforcement. But if you guys really want me to leave, then you're gonna have to have law enforcement
understand.
threaten me with arrest, and then I'll leave.
I totally get it. I'm not necessarily concerned about that.
Right. Right.
Because whether they drop the charges or not, you're just gonna keep getting removed. So
That's
I know you have an
right.
agenda. Our agenda is quite literally, hey, someone's filming, soliciting, all these different things in our code of conduct that you said is not in there. If it was in there or not, you wouldn't care. Right?
Well, I mean,
this is what I'm saying.
but the fact it's not even in there. That's
what
the
I'm saying.
point.
It is in there. We can bring you a copy right now.
I'll take a look at the copy. Sure.
Whether it's in there or not, you wouldn't care, right?
Again, I will leave under threat of arrest.
Listen what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it was in there or not, it wouldn't matter to you, would it?
I mean, to be honest, it
wouldn't.
would be good to see it
wouldn't,
because I haven't seen
you said
it.
it wasn't there, and that was your point of why.
I would like to see it though.
Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be
So,
right here.
what were you saying about what did you see about? You looked over the code of conduct. You
Yeah.
said that, right?
Yeah. There's nothing that says you can't film in here. It just says you can violate the law, which again you guys are trying to do, which is a little bit ironic. Violating my rights is breaking the law, but which is the first
I
rule.
want you to read this right here and let me know
Sure.
what it says.
Yeah, no photography or video allowed. Okay, let me see what else. No, let me read
okay,
the rest.
okay.
Let me read the rest. Let me read the rest.
no, for sure.
You have
Okay.
a copy. Have
Let me
a
see. Let me
copy.
see. Where is it again?
All right.
Okay, no photography video is allowed. No performance of any term of entertainment allowed written. Although management has been obtained. Okay, code of conduct and okay.
Okay. So.
Okay.
All right. So you told me that you read the code of conduct
Yeah, I read the code of
and you
conduct.
said that there was nothing that's explicitly told you.
Right, I checked
no
online.
Photography, no. Okay,
Yeah, I
but
did.
here
Can I-
am,
can I-
have
can I hold
code
the
of
copy?
conduct, right? Oh, for
Sure,
sure.
sure.
Yeah. Hold on to that. So there is something in writing.
I mean, the first one right there, violation of the law. Which again, if you're not allowing people to record in public, then you're violating their rights. Oh, careful. You're violating their rights. You guys are violating your own policy at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So.
Okay. So if I say, I don't know, put away the GoPro and the phone, right?
Right.
I didn't say that you have to stop talking, but by asking you not to film, am I still violating your rights? Would you be able to comply to that? Would you want to comply to that?
I mean, I would politely decline your
So
request
why is that?
because it's my right.
It's your right to
Yeah,
video
to freedom of press. Anywhere that is publicly accessible, I have the right to film.
in a public area. You have the right to
I mean,
I can't just walk into your house and be like, oh, it's open to the
Same thing at
public, and
grocery
then have you
store, right?
videotape
Right.
my
Have you
house.
done that in the grocery store yet?
I mean, people recording grocery
Not
store.
sure
If
have
you
you done this in the grocery store yet?
no, again, I don't go into
So why
because
not?
again, it could cause
So
a
why
disturbance
not?
inside
Why not?
because
Why is that?
there's
No,
flow.
But it
Answer
won't
the
though.
question.
It won't
Why
though.
haven't you?
Because
It's
there's
public
flow of
accessible.
traffic. There's flow of
Not even.
Accessible.
You can
No,
stand
no.
by the door. You can stand by. You can stand in the
Actually,
chocolate
to be
produce.
honest, I haven't tried it. You know,
Exactly.
I haven't tried it, but it doesn't
So
mean
this
it's
is
not.
like a grocery store. It's public accessible.
There's no sidewalks in this. That's a biggest.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
biggest difference.
You don't need a sidewalk to be.
There's no
something public
sidewalk.
accessible.
No,
It can
it's
be
public.
free for
It's
the-
publicly accessible, but there's no sidewalks there.
So a grocery store would be the same situation, right? It's open to the public.
Yeah, it's open to the public.
So this is open to the public too, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you went
It's-
to,
it's
if
a
you
difference
if you
between
no, no,
out-
listen,
here-
if you went to Ralph's
Right.
and you went in there and they said, which a lot of times they have signs, right? I don't know if you've seen them. They say no
Right.
soliciting,
Right.
and they have a little camera icon.
Right.
What would you do in that situation? I'm just curious.
I understand no soliciting, but I'm not
just- I'm
soliciting.
asking
I
a
don't-
good question. What would you do in that situation?
if
The scenario I just gave you, so grocery store, Ralph's.
Right.
They have the sliding door. It's open to public. It
Yeah.
says walk right in. Anyone
right,
can
right,
come in.
right.
Okay.
I can
Listen,
record my
listen,
experience when I go
listen,
shopping
listen,
at a
listen,
store.
listen,
That's not
listen,
illegal.
Listen. You're not answering the question.
So I
And
don't
the reason
understand.
why it's interesting because you're not applying your same logic to here. Because it's public accessible, right? You said it has to have a sidewalk. Okay, fine. Let's throw a sidewalk in there. Now it has a sidewalk that connects to the public road, right?
Sure.
Okay, so it went public road to private property because they own the entire complex, right?
Yeah.
And now you're in Ralph's. Public accessible doors let you in.
I actually have been to Target. Now that I remember that you guys reminded
You got
me.
kicked out of
So
there, I'm
no, I
sure.
didn't.
Awesome.
You could check my video on YouTube.
Well, it depends.
I didn't
some
get kicked
Targets
out.
don't care. I know that. Sometimes that's
Because
true.
they know that people have
So,
rights
anyways,
to record.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the grocery store. What would you do in that
It's
situation?
the same thing.
It's not.
I just haven't gone.
It's not, though.
A grocery
It's
store is
not.
not appealing to me to go have
I'm
conversation.
not
Right,
talking
but
about
it's not the
opinion.
same
I'm talking
thing.
about objectively.
It's not the same thing,
What
though.
would you change? I'm talking objectively, not talking opinions.
I'm talking objective.
Facts,
yeah,
right?
I'm going by the law.
So you said you wouldn't go in there. Let's say you did go in there. How would you address that? If they said no soliciting, like some grocery stores will say, and have a camera icon with the
Again,
X.
I'll leave on the threat of arrest.
Okay. Cool.
That's
Cool. So we had to basically say, hey, you gotta leave. We're just gonna be arrested for trespassing, and then you would leave, and then file something.
And then file some complaint with the police department.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
Again, I'm not looking to get arrested. I will leave on the threat of arrest.
No, I understand. Like, hey, it's fair. I've seen this stuff before.
Right.
We just don't want to go that route.
No, I trust me,
like,
I don't either. But if
know,
it needs to go that route, again, then it needs to go that route. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Sure.
It's just interesting because, like,
I mean, you could say
you were pretty good at first, and so you contradict yourself. Like I was almost had you almost you were pretty good, but you contradict yourself like a couple times, and then you didn't know the difference of listening. So all I would do.
I would say it's
is
free speech, but
I know, but it's not about what you say. It's about the law, right?
Well,
So the
law protects free
which
speech.
is written, which is
Which
literature,
protects
which has to
free
be
speech.
interpreted, which is defined.
And it protects free speech.
And a word like soliciting would have to be defined. If you can't define that, do you even know your own rights? That's what my challenge would be to you.
You're saying soliciting
listen,
is having a
listen,
conversation.
listen. I'm not saying soliciting. I'm saying soliciting is soliciting.
Okay, give me the definition of soliciting again.
Go look at it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think you know it. That's why. I think you're just saying soliciting.
I googled this before, and I googled it for situations like this because people commonly think soliciting means money or selling it. It doesn't. So all I'm saying is like, hey, we get what you're doing. We're cool with that. I just think it's ironic how you contradict yourself and like you don't know the definition of soliciting, but yet.
I know the difference between soliciting and free speech, and I'm doing free speech.
But they're not mutually exclusive. That's what I was telling you, right? That they're not. You can exercise free speech and still be soliciting, right? It's not one or the other, right? They're not mutually exclusive. That's what I'm saying to you. Because when I say you're soliciting, you're saying no, I'm exercising free speech. But what I'm saying is
free speech is your soliciting. Is what you're saying.
No, wrong. Because I can sit here and say dogs are fluffy. I'm exercising free speech, but I'm not soliciting, right?
So you can't ask a question, is what you're saying.
I'm not even saying that.
I mean, that's the only difference between that statement and this question.
Because look, you just said I'm making a movie. I'm doing the whole entertainment, right? Because you're making a movie, right? That's why.
I mean, this is not. It's not
documented.
Sure, it's being documented. Yeah,
right? It's going to go on your channel, right?
It's just it's free press,
right?
But yeah,
whether
which is
whether
First
it
Amendment
be
protected.
To entertain, whether it be to inform,
right?
Whether it be to persuade,
to even to just give a tour as well of
forming a body of work, right?
Which we have the right to.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, right? You have the right to do whatever you want in a public space, right? But
publicly accessible space.
No, public space, not publicly accessible space.
Because publicly accessible.
Because remember, remember, your logic.
If I'm on the sidewalk, I've been on sidewalks on stores, and they don't harass me.
I have to
understand.
Because, but look, by your logic.
Again, inside there's no sidewalk inside. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But here's what I'm saying. You said.
I mean, it's just aisles, I guess you could say.
So when we pulled up, we initially said we don't have a problem with what you're doing, right?
Right.
And I said you can, while you're exercising your right and all that stuff, you're on private property, right? You're on. So I get that you're saying, oh, First Amendment this, and I'm not soliciting and all this, and you said all these things, right? That you read the code of conduct, which wasn't true because you would have saw it. That you're exercising free speech, and by doing that, you're not soliciting, which I said again, also not true.
I would say that's your opinion.
No, it's not even. It's not even. You said, and it's on your cameras, right? That I read the code of conduct, and there was nothing in there that said yada yada yada, and then I had you read it out to me.
Sure.
Right? So it's documented. It's facts. So
sure. I didn't see that online. But now that you're showing me, sure, okay, I see that it says no video, but I would say that policy is infringing on people's rights that are out here.
But it's not. But it's not infringing on people's property, right?
On rights.
We're not infringing on anyone's rights.
Again, freedom of press is a right. That's my point.
It is a right. But what I'm saying is you're on private property, right? And the whole time when I say that, you're like, oh, but it's publicly accessible because people get to use the sidewalk to get to this, and I didn't have to ask permission to walk into
exactly
area,
because
right?
it's publicly
so
accessible.
But it's not public property.
But
and that's what I'm saying.
It's publicly accessible because again, nobody has to ask.
But they're not the same thing. Because now you're comparing apples to oranges.
It's not a police station. It's not a public library. It's not a government building. You're confusing all those things.
This private sidewalk leads to the public library. It has to be open to the public.
Because now you're comparing apples to oranges.
No, I'm going with
you now doing this because you're saying public property, publicly accessible property. They're different.
I mean, it's
you're
public.
not
You're trying to say private property is something that's publicly accessible is private property, so therefore it's not public, even though it's publicly.
The public doesn't own
But
it.
that doesn't make any sense though. But it's publicly accessible.
How does it not make sense?
So
Explain it to me,
Okay.
please.
Before
No,
you-
stop.
okay.
Explain it to me, please.
Okay, again.
What is the difference? I'm asking you a
Between-
question,
between
right?
what?
What is the difference? Okay.
Between
private property,
Okay.
right, and public property.
I'll tell you the difference between private property is that you have to ask for permission to go on private property. I didn't have to ask for permission to
Wrong.
go here. No,
Wrong.
will you tell me the difference then?
Okay.
have to have
So
permission
the
here
difference.
Exactly.
It's
we
still
could-
private.
The difference.
So that's the difference, though.
Look,
If
the
I-
difference between
You
private
don't own this
property.
Exactly.
Look, the difference between private property.
No. It's open to
Stop.
the public. It doesn't matter who owns it. It's open to the public.
No, but that's where you're wrong, because it
And-
does matter who owns it, right? So here's what I'm saying. The
If
difference
you're open to the
between-
public, you have to respect
the
people's
difference
rights.
between private
That's the way.
property-
That's the way the law works.
difference between private property
Right.
and public property, like you just said, it's who owns it.
No.
Or
It's,
rather-
you have to
rather how
ask for
you-
permission.
rather how
Private
you
property,
try
you have to
deny-
ask for
rather how
permission
you
to go
try
in.
deny that, right?
And
So-
I didn't. Nobody has to ask for permission to go in here. You tell me the
I can
difference
have
then.
like I said, you can have an open house, right? Are you asking if people have to have permission to go to an open house to see it?
They're open to the
Answer my
public.
question.
Open houses.
Answer my
You just
question. Answer my question.
contradicted yourself.
Let me just
Stop. Look, all right, so look.
Okay.
You gotta make it sense.
You said you were in Target,
Yeah, on the
right?
sidewalk.
Did you have to ask permission to walk into Target when it was
No.
open to the public?
No.
Would you say that that's public property?
It's open to the public. It's private, but it's
That's not
open
what
to
I
the
asked you.
public.
That's not what I asked you. Is it public property?
Yes
I
or
mean,
no?
when it's during business hours.
Answer the question.
I mean, it's
Is
privately
it
owned.
public-
I
is it
understand that it's
okay,
privately
beautiful.
owned.
So you do now understand.
But
the
when they're
difference.
open to the public, they have to respect people's
not
rights.
public.
Okay, but
They don't
you
have the
can-
right to just
all right,
search
all right,
people.
so look, so let's check this out.
So it changes
Because
based
people
on
have the
how
right
much-
to privacy.
Okay, but you just answered.
They don't have the
answered
right
my
to
question.
search people because they have to respect people's rights. They can't just search people randomly when they go into Target.
We're not
trying to do a
searching
search.
you.
Exactly. Just like you guys
That's
can't
the Fourth
stop me
Amendment
from
right there.
filming.
We're not doing-
Just like you guys can't
But we
search
can,
me.
But we can.
But you guys are infringing my
Because-
First Amendment. Just like you know you can't infringe on my Fourth Amendment, which is my right to privacy. You guys can't infringe on my First Amendment either.
We're not doing
We're
anything.
not touching
But-
you. We're not digging.
No,
in
no,
your
no, 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 no.
pockets.
I understand.
We're not doing
And
anything. You're
exactly.
free to
But
go,
for the
all
same
those
logic
things.
that you guys can't infringe on my Fourth Amendment, you guys can also infringe on my First Amendment. What gives you the right to infringe on my First Amendment, but not my Fourth Amendment?
Okay, so somebody taking a selfie, right? Because you said freedom of press.
Freedom of press, exactly.
Somebody
People have the
taking
right to
a selfie,
document.
Is that
Yeah,
press?
yeah.
That's
Especially if
press?
they put it
That's press to
online.
you? That's
If they,
press
yeah,
to you?
anything that's recording or documenting is press, especially with a camera. That's what press means.
Did you call Petey or no?
Yeah, no, they're on their way.
Oh, they're
Okay.
right.
Yeah, they're on
Sure.
their way.
No, sure. No, I'll wait for them. Oh, they're actually here
That's
already.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're just entertaining your logic because it's like you're contradicting yourself so many times.
No, you guys are contradicting yourself. You guys are
We're not.
again.
We're not, but
we,
it's-
we
it's
understand the
all
difference from private property and public. You're saying it changes based on the accessibility. That's not true,
Right.
right? And you know that, but for some reason you're confusing it. I don't know why. Because you just like something being accessible to the public doesn't make the property now the owner has changed. Oh my gosh! Now the public owns it, or the private owner. I mean, not private owner. The people who own the property are private.
I'll speak to that.
Yeah, we'll see.
No, no. How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. So I'm just conducting a constitutionally protected activity. You know, just filming out in publicly accessible area, not blocking the sidewalk, and that's pretty much it.
And what did they explain to you?
They were saying that apparently it's privately owned, but I was trying to tell them that it's publicly accessible. I didn't have to ask for permission to come in here because it's accessible to the public.
Right.
Right.
So,
But I mean that means that they don't have the right to infringe on people's rights
okay.
from
But
a public
it is-
area.
But it is or it is private property. The mall is.
Right.
This over here would be public
Right.
because it's not owned by the Victoria Gardens
Yeah,
property.
I-
So you can set your stuff up over there, but they do have a right. They do have policy and procedures because it is owned privately. So it is accessible to the public. You are correct, but it is privately owned, so they can act as a part.
I
of
would
that
say that
process.
if I'm kicked out for filming, obviously in the publicly accessible area, I would say that's an infringement on my rights. Because again, everybody has a right to record out when they're out in public, just like the same reason that every store here has cameras. You know, they didn't have to ask for my permission to film me while I'm walking through here. You know,
Right.
people have the right to walk through here and they're being filmed
I don't-
because we're out in public.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
believe that's the same thing though.
I mean, they film for the.
So they have cameras here, you know, for in the event that something
for
happens.
for protection, right? for the same reason I record as well.
I wouldn't necessarily say for protection.
For safety, I guess you could say safety. For safety
it's just
reasons.
surveillance, so in case something happens, we have cameras.
And then that's part of the reason why I film as well, because it's my right, and also just in case something happens, in case my rights get violated, I want to make sure that I document that. You know what I'm saying? So it's my right to document my.
What they had told me though is that they just asked you to simply move to another location that is accessible to the public and it's not private property.
Right. They did tell me that apparently by where those light posts are, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah, but I guess again, I will leave, under threat of arrest, because I'm not trying to get arrested. I just want to make that clear.
Not trying to arrest you either,
yeah,
man.
but
they just simply want you to move to an area that is not public. Or
I understand their request, but I will politely, because I would say I'm not violating the law here. And you guys are law enforcement.
You're
you guys are
not.
supposed to
You're
enforce
not.
law, not policies. And again, my
But
rights, infringing on my rights will be breaking the law.
But this is their property. So we act as an agent for them because they do not have peace officer powers to make arrests.
No, I understand
Does
that.
make
I understand that
so
part.
So they call us over here.
Right.
Because they asked you
And-
to move to an area that is not private property.
Yeah.
Which is just a little bit over there.
And then
if
the reason for that is because I'm filming, and I would say that I'd be infringing on my rights, which will be.
They have policy and procedure here.
Right.
That's not just yours; it's everybody.
I understand the
else.
policy, but that means that nobody else can film them when
Nobody
they're.
else, no, if they do, they talk to them.
I mean, I see people filming all the time when I walk here. People are using their phones, they're recording themselves, they're recording, taking pictures. That's what people
That
do.
would be a little bit different than I believe what you're doing.
I mean, there's no difference between someone taking a picture in public and me just,
What
recording.
Is it that you're doing?
Oh, just having a conversation with people
Okay.
about basic physics, and that's it. Making people think a little bit. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, like I said, so there's people that do record or things like that, but they're not necessarily doing what you're doing. What you're doing is not wrong, but they do not want it on their property.
And I would say that discrimination at that point, and that would be violating
You
my
can say
rights.
whatever it is, whatever you want it
Yeah.
to be. I
Be-
mean, however you feel, you have a right to your feelings and your opinion.
Well, it's not my feelings. It's the law. It's the First Amendment, free speech and free
Right.
press
Right.
from
But
publicly
they're just-
accessible
they're just
areas.
asking you to move over there. That's it.
I understand that. I was already almost done here anyway. But again, I'm not looking to get arrested. But if I decline to go over there, what will happen then? Would you
They
threaten
would
me?
ask you to leave the property.
And if I refuse to leave the property, because
Well,
obviously
then
that would be
we come here and we tell you, hey, look.
so under threat of arrest, I will have to leave. And I
We'll
would
give you the opportunity to leave.
No,
leave,
yeah.
And then if we have to come back.
no, I would
then
leave.
at
I
that
would
point-
leave under threat of arrest, and then I would just have to get you guys' badges numbers, and then I will follow up with a complaint after that.
Okay.
I mean,
if
sure.
you want, yeah, you can
I
speak
mean-
to a supervisor if you need to, so you don't even have to bother.
sure.
with
I
the
actually spoken
complaint.
to the supervisor of Rancho Cucamonga as well
Okay.
before. I've spoken to him before. I don't know his name exact. I forgot his name.
We
but
have-
I have.
we have a lot.
Okay, sure. I spoke to one of the supervisors,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, he didn't disagree with me. Again, you don't have to take my word. But if you want to get a supervisor on the phone, maybe ask him.
I'm
Or
not disagreeing with you.
Right.
I'm just acting on behalf of them because
Right.
this is their property.
Yeah.
And they have rules and regulations that they don't control. They just work for the property.
Right,
You know what
but
I mean?
rules-
So they're just enforcing it.
just like the fact that they don't have the right to just search anyone they want, right? Because the Fourth Amendment protects us from being violated. The First Amendment also protects me from documenting my experience in publicly accessible areas. I understand it's private, but it's open to the public.
It is, you're right.
Exactly.
But
And
the
that
thing
means I
is-
have the right to record and document my experience here. Isn't that right?
No, because it's private property and they do not.
So now
allow
they could
anybody-
they can discriminate on whoever they want basically at that point.
It's not
Oh.
discriminating.
They're wasting their own time. I mean, I guess, but
No, they ask you to just move over there.
no, I understand that part, but.
You know?
Oh no, I understand that. I understand that. No, I just want to make sure that if you guys want me out, I understand. If you guys want to threaten me with arrest, I will leave.
It's not
'Cause
a threat. It's
No,
not
no,
a threat,
but
man.
no,
It's
I
not a threat.
I know you guys are asking me, and I'm refusing politely.
Just to make it clear for everyone, also, the mall offers options for.
No, he was telling me that.
Yeah,
Oh, they have to
I
ask
was
for
gonna make-
permission.
make it clear.
Sure.
They organize stuff for it.
Right.
Like I said, churches, they want to pass around flyers.
Right.
You know what they do?
They ask for
Hey,
permission. Yeah, you
go
told
to the
me.
office, fill out a little paper. They put you in a public accessible area,
Right.
like you've been saying, in an area like this, but specifically by JCPenney's, and they allow you to be there with the sign.
What's the difference between here and there, if I may ask?
I'm not saying it's different. I'm saying they put you in an area to be seen.
You just said it was a public accessible area, but not
It's
here,
just the
but
fact
over
that you
there.
can be seen. They're not trying to put you somewhere like behind the wall. They're putting you somewhere where you can be seen. Okay, that's the point I'm making. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
making any other point besides that.
Yeah, sounds-
So there's options for what you're doing,
Yeah,
right? But you don't want to do it, correct?
because it's a right. I shouldn't have to ask for permission. That's my point.
Okay.
For something
But
that's
we're
in the
offering
First
you another
Amendment.
option.
Yeah.
It was one being public, but there's also an option to be here. Okay, the measures close on the weekends. I'm sorry, but that's another option. I just want to make it clear.
No, no, you did tell me
Obviously, you have
that.
the option you want
Yeah, yeah.
to do,
No,
but
you
I
did
just
tell
wanna
me.
make it clear.
No,
That's
yeah, I appreciate that. You know,
That's
trying
it.
to explain yourself.
Okay.
You know, you're being pretty cool. You guys haven't been, heated, I guess, right?
Have you been able to make your point?
With you guys or?
Well, in general.
In
'cause
general?
You said that, like,
Oh, sure, yeah. I had a couple conversations already, consensual conversations. Again, they come up to me. I don't harass anyone. If people want to have a chat with me,
you're the
again.
one saying all of that. We're not accusing you of anything.
Sure, sure.
I'm just saying, is your point being made? As far as,
As far as what?
refusing to leave, you're saying that you're in a public area. I'm just asking if you've made your point in refusing to comply with them and then having a conversation with us where we just told you, hey, just move over here.
Well, I do refuse to comply with policies that violate my rights. But again, if a law enforcement tells me to leave under threat of arrest, I will leave because, again, I don't want my rights violated, but I also don't want to be arrested.
Okay, it's not about violating your rights. There's just rules here.
Again,
So
but rules
either-
cannot trump people's rights. That's my point. Just like they don't have the right to just search anyone randomly because of the Fourth
Okay,
Amendment.
Well, they're not asking to do that. They're just simply asking you to move to a place that is not public or private property.
Yeah, so now they're abusing my they're infringing on my First Amendment because apparently I can't. So what they're telling me is that I can't exercise my First Amendment here. I can exercise it over there, which doesn't make any sense to me.
It's public. It's public.
So does that mean that you guys have the right to search anyone that's right here and not anyone over there?
It doesn't matter, private or public.
No,
We don't
what I'm
just
saying
search
is if I'm
people.
here, do you have the right to just search anyone if you
We don't
wanted
just
to?
search people
Exactly.
like
You need
that
to you need to
anyways.
suspect them of a crime first. Exactly.
Okay,
and-
so what's your point?
So my point is that I'm not breaking a law here. I'm actually exercising a right, which is the opposite of breaking the law. You know,
Are you missing my whole point here? It's private property.
but it's
You-
publicly
public-
accessible.
But it's public property over there.
This sidewalk has to be publicly accessible for people that want to go to the public library.
Difference, dude. It's so if you were to leave this property and go over there on the sidewalk, it's
Right.
publicly accessible and it's public property.
Right.
Even though this is open to the public,
Right.
it's private property. Does that not make sense?
So there's a lot of government buildings that are privately owned, like USPS, city halls. They're all privately owned, and they're open to the public.
Right.
So my point is, when they're open to the public, people have the right to go in and record and exercise their First Amendment.
Right. But
Same
they're
thing here.
asking you to leave because this
That
is
will be-
privately owned and they have the right to do
But
that.
just like the privately owned government buildings that are open to the public, when you're open to the public, you have to respect people's rights. Again, just like you can't search anyone just because you just.
Searching has nothing to do with what we're
It's
talking about.
no, it has to do with the Fourth Amendment.
Okay, we're not talking about the Fourth Amendment.
I'm talking. Well, it's parallel to the First Amendment because they're there for a reason. They're there to
Amendments,
they're,
yeah,
they're,
but
they're,
they're
there to
not-
protect us, the
Right.
citizens, from tyrannical.
They're
You
just
know.
asking you to follow the rules and procedures that they have. here.
I understand the rules, but the thing is that what gets me is that if the rules violate people's, they say they did have a rule says, oh, we have the right to search anyone that's in this property.
not violating
That
rights,
rule,
just walk over there
that
and
rule
do
will be in
exactly what you
violation,
wanna do.
in direct violation of people's rights. Even if they had it in paper, it still wouldn't.
What's your name?
My name's William.
William.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not violating your rights. They're just simply asking you to move over there.
And that's my point. And
But
if I
you're the one that's-
and if I refuse, then they are gonna violate my rights.
No, they're just going to act as a private company, which
They're gonna
they are.
and then they're gonna
and they
basically
call us out here.
they're gonna discriminate against me and violate my rights.
Nothing
And
about discrimination. You want to make it about discrimination? That's on you.
I mean,
but that's
for-
not discrimination.
I mean, if I'm
It's
exercising the
the
First
rules and
Amendment,
procedures that they have here on this property.
but again, rules cannot supersede our
No one's
rights.
trying to violate your rights. They just simply asked you to move over there.
But that will be violating my
It's
rights.
just following the rules that they have on this property.
But again, the rules cannot refuse. That's where I'm like we're kind of going, different.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Sure.
They're asking you to leave the property. If you wanted to fill out the proper form and documentation, you could have been here with no issues, but you failed to do so.
So-
that's what he was explaining to you.
No, yeah, he
they
did
would
explain
give
that.
you- if you would have filled out the proper forms and went about it the right way, then you would have had your own little setup. No one would bother you. You do your thing until until the mall closes.
Right.
But the fact that you refused to do that and you didn't follow, the procedures that they have here, they're asking you to either move over there or leave the property. If you don't want to, if you refuse to do so, they then have the right
To violate my rights.
to make an arrest for trespassing because they've asked you to leave the property and they can't.
But what did they ask me to leave? Because I refused to obey them.
Because they have rules that say that no one can film.
But
on
I
the
understand the
property
rules.
without
Right.
filing the proper paperwork, which you failed to do so.
So I understand the rules. For example, no skateboarding, no,
Right.
bikes, right? All that.
Right.
I understand that because it's like a safety concern, right? I get it.
No, it's the rules.
Because the reason why it's a rule is because of a
William, what do
reason.
you want, man? We're simply
I don't want to.
asking
I
you
don't
to
want my
move
rights
over there.
my rights
Okay,
violated.
So just go over there then. Just move up there where it's public, publicly owned,
Right. I get that.
and you can do whatever you want to do. This is privately owned. It's not trying to violate your rights.
Okay.
It's not trying to discriminate you. They're simply asking you to just move over there,
Right.
and you can do whatever you want.
I understand that, but again,
You're just making it more difficult.
no,
to be honest.
I feel like you guys are making it difficult because again,
No, I'm
this.
just asking you to move over there. So if you can move over there, then we would be done and over. This would be done and
Okay.
over with.
Again, if you guys want to basically tell me to leave on the third, I'll leave.
We just want you to move over
okay,
there. We're
let
not
me-
even asking you to leave.
No, but that's the thing. I don't want to go over there. You know what I'm saying? The people over there wouldn't be able to read my sign. I wouldn't be able to have any conversations if
Then
I'm
why
over
don't
there.
you fill out the proper paperwork and
Yeah.
come back and do what you want to do right here or at JCPenney's or wherever they will accommodate
They
you.
would accommodate me. That's the thing. If it's a right, I don't feel like I need to ask for permission. That's my point.
Then go somewhere where it's public and do
Publicly
the same
accessible,
thing.
which is right
No,
here. I didn't
publicly owned.
have to ask for permission to come in here. That's my main point.
Okay,
that
what
this.
are we gonna do here? I'm wanting to know what you're gonna do here.
Sure. Okay.
Because I've already given
okay.
you multiple options.
If
and
I
you're refusing
refuse
them
to
all.
go over there, right? Are you guys gonna threaten me with arrest if I don't leave? Because again, I'll leave on.
It's not a threat. It's just
No. Let's say I'm refusing. I'm refusing to go over there. What happens now?
they're gonna ask you to leave. We're gonna tell you. So hey,
You have to leave, or
we'll leave. We'll give you the opportunity to leave.
no.
If you don't leave, then
No,
we'll
I
come
want to
back.
make sure it's verbalized to me.
I've already told you twice.
If I need to leave on the threat of arrest, I will leave. Again, I don't want to be arrested, and I don't want my rights
So I'm
violated
telling
either.
You that
Sure.
if you do not go over there, they are asking you to leave, which you're refusing to do.
Yeah.
We are now telling you they do not want you here.
Okay.
We will give you the opportunity to leave.
And if I don't leave,
Don't leave, and you stay here, then if they choose to press charges, then we will take you to jail for trespassing. Yes.
okay. So if I don't leave, then I could be going to jail for trespassing. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
exactly what I just said.
Okay. Can I get your name and badge number?
It's right here.
Can you? I'm bad with
Pappas.
Pappas and badge number.
It's G9456.
G9456 and your name and badge number. I'm sorry. Cuevas and badge number.
George 7731.
The 2803. What is that?
It's a badge number.
What's the badge?
We don't go off of that.
You guys don't go off of that?
The number I gave you is how they identify us as employees.
Okay, cool. I'm going ahead and go now. Since you guys did threaten me with arrest if I don't leave, obviously, because obviously they're gonna.
It's just asking you to comply. That's it.
Well, I mean, I'm not. You could. I could use a different word than threat, but you guys said I'll be arrested if I don't leave. If they
Because
told me
that's
to
the
leave.
right that they
Right.
have on this property.
Well, they don't have the right to violate people's rights.
Okay,
That's
I
my
don't
main
wanna
point.
keep talking
That's
to you
fine. That's fine.
because This is pointless.
It is. It is. I feel like you guys are wasting your time because again, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not breaking the law. You guys are law
Technically
enforcement.
You are because there's rules that they have.
You guys are not rule enforcement. You guys are law enforcement.
We acted for them because they are not peace officers and they do not have the peace.
They're not
power
law
or
enforcement.
ability. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. So again, you guys cannot break the law, which violating people's rights, it's breaking the law. So again, I'll go ahead and go. I'll follow up with this. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to get arrested or anything. Sure. I'll go to the Rancho Cucamonga one probably tomorrow or
It's the
so.
same one. We have a substation right here.
Oh.
There's a supervisor. You can go speak to him right now if you'd like.
Sure. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll follow up. Thank you, man. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Right. Yes, have a good one.
Do they have a contract with the people that own this?
Yeah, 'cause they
I don't know. Apparently, people can't film
We work
out
for
here.
No, you can film.
Exactly.
Your
I
public
don't
space.
know. I'm gonna have to follow up with their supervisor because obviously they just enforce their feelings
It is
or their
public here.
policies.
They cannot do nothing.
No, I'm going by the law. I'm going by the First Amendment.
The
Freedom of
owner
speech,
this
freedom of
land
press.
Or whoever they're saying is here has to come tell you to leave.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But if they're open to the public, they have to
Yeah,
respect
it's
people's
public
rights.
access.
They have to
It's,
respect
you're
people's
filming
rights.
in
Just like they
public.
don't have the right to just search anyone they want.
If you
They don't.
if you
Exactly.
ain't trying to sell nothing, you're
Exactly. I don't know why they don't understand that. It's weird.
soliciting, that's what
They're trying to say free speech is soliciting now. That if I'm asking a question, it's soliciting.
said that, sir.
You did say that. It's fine. No, it's fine. I'm not gonna, go play semantics here. It's fine. The police.
You've been doing that for like an hour,
nah.
bro.
You've been.
Playing semantics.
No. You're trying to turn free speech into soliciting. And that's exactly what you did.
You did that.
Why would I turn free speech into soliciting?
You did that.
Asking a question is
There's a
soliciting?
difference between soliciting and free
Nah,
speech.
look,
It's fine.
Question.
Sure. It's fine.
Do you have like a YouTube or Instagram?
Go ahead.
Are you
Here.
live on IG?
I'm actually live on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, here,
I'm
check it out.
curious.
Yeah, here, check it out, man. It's the first one on there.
Oh,
Check it out.
beautiful.
You want to take one?
No, I'm okay.
All right. The subject I talk about, by the way, the main reason why I'm here, you'll check it out. Oh, sure. Yeah. YouTube, yeah. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Curious, we'll see.
All right, man. All right, yes, have a good one, man. Sure.
At the very least, though, the last interaction, just to like,
This dude literally selling puppies right now.
I mean, it's completely different. Completely different.
And that's what I was trying to explain.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If you're selling puppies, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling anything.
but to be fair,
That's a huge difference.
Look.
It's fine.
It comes in many forms, and what you just did was
And free speech is not one of them.
some clear examples of it.
It's fine. I mean, again, I'm not gonna try to argue this.
I'm just
They
curious.
already, said what they were gonna do.
And
I'm gonna
just for the good
comply.
people out there, just for the good people out there, right? What I was trying to explain to gentlemen, I got no problem.
Also, what was I gonna say?
What I was saying was,
But to be fair,
listening
though,
and free speech,
can you at
they're
least
not
admit? 'Cause
mutually
I would
exclusive.
admit if I didn't understand something.
Sure.
Can you admit that you didn't really know the difference of soliciting? But
I would say, can you admit that? I know the difference
No, I'm
between.
asking- I'm
Look, I'll
asking
tell you the difference.
No, listen, I'll ask the question and you're like,
Sure, I'll tell you the
answering
difference.
the question. No,
So-
no, I haven't even
Hey,
finished
look,
talking.
Okay, sure.
he's packing up.
You're right. We'll catch you though.
My man.
Yeah, see you on YouTube. I'm
All right, man.
curious.
No hard feelings, man. To be honest, you guys would have done this to anyone that was here.
I respect
You know.
what you were doing, man. I respect
No,
what you
no
were
worries, man. I'll just follow up with
Freedom of the
the.
press is important, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, let's say a crime happened here and somebody recorded it. Are they in fault for recording that crime?
I'm sorry?
If somebody committed a crime here and people started recording that, are they at fault for recording? Are they violating the rules here for recording that crime? No, they'll be thankful for recording that. I
mean, we got cameras that do that as well.
exactly, and that's the same reason why I'm recording, to protect myself. Trust me, people get triggered.
Okay,
People
but
get
by doing
triggered.
that, you're also doing something else. You want to know what that is?
What is? Soliciting.
No. Well, in that too, but look, we'll get out of that.
Because you guys been saying, what else am I doing?
You're filming people's kids. You're filming.
No.
properties. What's to say
This
that
one's
you're-
recording me.
What's to say? Yeah, but this one's facing right up.
It's
there.
wide angle. It
Right,
doesn't
all right,
even.
let's look at this.
It's
Let's look at
wide
where's
angle
it
though.
pointing? Where's it pointing? It's pointing at all.
Honestly,
of it.
But it's wide angle.
Not even the best point. The best point.
It's kind of irrelevant because it's a wide angle. No, yeah, I'm already going. I'm packing up already, man. No worries.
Filming one is a harder one, as I admit. Once they articulate it, by like malicious intent, because like
Right.
the biggest thing is listening.
Right. All right. No worries.
All right.
Hey, did I give you a card?
No.
You want one?
Yeah.
Check it out. I have my YouTube right there on top.
Right.
Just check it out, man.
Great.
All right. Alrighty. Oh, there's the trash right here. Oh.
Hello. Long Island Audit is my hero.
I watch him too. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Long Island
And
Audit.
he is the calmest guy in the world.
Oh yeah, he is. He's very
I
calm.
don't see how he could be that calm when they're cussing at him.
Yeah,
and doing everything.
and the fact that he's been arrested multiple times is
and
crazy.
he's
I mean, I've been
calm.
arrested before. You could check it out. They have actually took my video cameras, and they actually haven't even filed my case. It's been months. So it's again, it's
It is
it's pretty crazy, man. But it's fine.
I actually never came across someone out here like this.
Oh yeah, First Amendment order.
I just wanted to see what was happening.
No, yeah.
I had a stroke. That is what's wrong. I cannot. Slow. Chuck slow. The whole left side of my brain don't work. The right side only has a little piece. They have no idea why I'm walking, talking, and functioning. That's just don't jump my brain. I don't want to die. I have a tattoo. I threw a rod. My brain threw a rod. So I didn't oil it. So
Alrighty. I mean, you take care, man.